intercepted by LeRoy Irvin at the 50, all the way to the 30, to the 20, to the 15, the 10, 5, touchdown! A 50-yard return.
Irvin, out in front, touchdown!
I'm in my 11th year in the league, right? I'm ready to retire. I'm ready to call it a day. We play against Kansas City, and this dude, the Nigerian Nightmare, or the backbeater, whatever you want to call him, he busts through the line at 260 and expects me to go head-to-head with him. I moved to the side to give him a free rein to run, because he runs 4-4, so I figured he's probably going to take the easy way, just run to the end zone, right? Oh, no. He kept turning at me, until I finally had to duck my head and be dragged off the field for the rest of the season.
Hey, you know why I did that? Because I knew when I go past you, you're going to chase me down. So I had to get you first.
Got him. You did, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I was a bigger guy, so I couldn't outrun him. So, yeah.
Yeah. Christian, I want to ask you, growing up in Nigeria, you lived there for most of your early life and into college. How did you end up attending Azusa Pacific? I know you were into track and field, and you had a good friend, Innocent Agbanike. Hopefully I said that correctly.
Yes.
So love to hear your experience and your story from, how that transition happened.
Well, yeah, like you said, we were friends back home in Nigeria. We were in the same track team, competing for the state and also for Nigeria. So when he came in 1981, he went to the Olympics as a junior competitor. In 1980, he went to Moscow. So it was really easy for him to be admitted at Azusa. And when he was coming, I told him, I said, I'd like to come out because Olympics is going to be in 84 in LA. And I'd like to be there to compete for that. I'd like to come, go to school and train so I'll be ready for it. So that's how I came. The track coach at Azusa, Terry Franson, worked it out for me to come. I came over in the summer of 1982. And I got myself ready. Of course, I went to school 82, 83, and then 84, being my junior year, was when the Olympic was going on in LA. When that time came around, Nigeria didn't take me to the Olympics, so I was very, very disappointed. And but all along, friends have been telling me that I should play football, that I looked like a football player. Because of my size, strength, and speed. So when Nigeria didn't take me to the Olympics, I decided, okay, I'm gonna try this game, football, even though I didn't know anything about it. I joined the football team. We went, first of all, walked up to the coach's office, and I told him I like to play football. And Coach Jim Milhon, he says, what position would you like to play? And of course, I didn't know anything about football. I didn't know any positions. And I told him that I saw in the news about a guy who reversed the field and ran a long ways and scored a touchdown. And he said, oh, yeah, that was Marcus Allen. I said, okay, yeah, what position was he? He said, running back. So, okay, that's what I want to play. That's how I became a running back.
Okay, so you, honestly, would you have played any position if it was a highlight of someone else? Or you saw LeRoy, highlight, it was like, oh, I'm going to play corner.
Probably. I don't know. I just saw that the way he ran, 76 yards and scored a touchdown. I said, okay, I can do that. And I chose to be a running back then, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
Yeah.
I didn't know that running back position is like one of the most difficult positions in football. Every play you have to hit somebody or somebody will hit you. And but I got into it, that's what I chose, and I worked extremely hard. Friends, my teammates were very, very important to me because they were the ones that were teaching me football, telling me the things that I needed to do, teaching me plays. Because the sport that I knew about was soccer. and we didn't have that much plays. We just kick the ball around. You have the skills, and you kick it around and move on. But football, you have to, go to a specific spot so that the quarterback can find you, or maybe your blockers can block for you. I had to learn all that,
Yeah.
and it took a while. Um, so I played 2 years, and I was I graduated. Somebody told me you may want to go back one more year because you were getting better every year. Maybe you can try out for the NFL. And hearing that, I said, okay, I'll go back for my third year and my fifth year in college. And that last year made a huge difference. After that year, I was invited to play in the Senior Bowl. And I went to the Senior Bowl. I got lucky. I scored 4 touchdowns. And every team came calling. And the Chiefs came the most. And they were the ones that drafted me in the second round. And then, of course, the rest is history.
Christian, I know you know Marcus. You talk to Marcus, you play golf with Marcus. Have you ever told Marcus that story about you wanting to play football because of his long run? Have you ever told him that story?
Yes. Yes. The first time I met Marcus, I told him that. He didn't believe me. He said, yeah, right. It took him several years, but now he believes me because I keep telling him that. And he was the reason why I played the running back position, you see. And then, of course, when I got into football, um, because I didn't know much about the game, I had to collect videos, films of different guys that I had to watch to learn the game. And I watched Jim Brown a lot, Jim Taylor a lot, Walter Payton. And then at the time, Marcus Allen and Eric Dickerson were here in LA. Marcus playing for the Raiders and Eric playing for the Rams. So both of them were my heroes. I watched them. I play Saturday on Sunday. I'm on TV watching them to kind of learn, how they go about playing the game. And so I had to watch others to learn how to play the position, you see.
Did you try to emulate them at all after watching all those videos?
Well, the only people that I tried to emulate was Jim Brown, Jim Taylor, Walter Payton. Eric and Marcus have different styles, and I couldn't run like them. They were kind of slender, so they moved differently. So I had to kind of look at bigger guys to watch. I know Walter wasn't a big guy, but he played big, if you know what I mean. He played big, so I had to watch him. Jim Taylor from Green Bay was another one. He wasn't that big, but he ran like he was big. He ran into people like he was big. So I watched him. Even Riggins, I watched him. All the big guys that played before me, I had to collect their films and try to emulate the way they ran and try to learn what their demeanor was when they were playing.
I know you came from Nigeria, right? And I mean to ask you this because I've been knowing you for years. I never really asked you this question. I mean, what was the transition like, coming to the United States at the age, I think, 20 years old? Or what age did you come here? Like when you were 20 or 19? What was it like, the transition from the culture in Nigeria to the culture, especially Southern California? I can imagine if you went to Montana or Wyoming or whatever, it might have been
Yeah,
easier, but you came into the melting pot of the United States, which is Southern California. How was that transition like for you, just from a
yeah.
social standpoint?
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. It wasn't easy at all because the one thing that actually made it a little easy for me was because I had my friend Innocent Egnike at the time going to school. So he because he was here, he made things easier for me. But still, I had a hard time because I left my family back home, and food was different. And I got introduced to Chinese food and hamburgers, and I ate those often. You know, there's a Chinese restaurant right across the street from the school. Chicken and ribs. So so we'll go to chicken ribs and eat chicken and ribs all the time and rice every day. You know, but then of course, as time went on, I transitioned to pizza, spaghetti, and there was a time I used to hate spaghetti because we didn't have that in Nigeria back then. But it was new. It was new to me. But when I got used to it, I ate it a lot. So you know, all that good stuff.
Christian, I read on you and somewhere it said that when you first started playing, you weren't real in love with the game yet, and it kind of took you a while. Do you remember how long it took you to get really comfortable with getting hit all the time and all the details and nuances of the game?
I never got comfortable with it until I retired. You know, because football is not easy. You know, I played with injuries. You know, a lot of times, and I hated it. I hated football until I retired, and then I got into it. You know, I remember in 1989 going up to Seattle, and I I hurt my shoulder because the field was so bad. LeRoy, if you remember, the stadium over there, the turf was
Hard,
it has folds in it. You know,
hard, folding.
yeah. I was running. I was running, and I tripped on one of the folds, and a linebacker hit my shoulder like that, and it popped out. So my shoulder was hanging like that. I ran to the sideline. The trainers put a towel underneath and popped it back in, and I ran back on the field, finished the game, and the rest of the season I learned how to put it back in. Every time I hit somebody, it will pop out. I had to pop it back in. You know, today, if you have something like that, your season is over.
Yeah.
You know, but I had to, you know, play that way because all my friends were playing with injuries, so I had to do the same.
And now you know how I feel when you ran me over. Hey, that's what happened to me when you ran me over. You ran over, my shoulder went out. I had to keep popping it back in place, popping it back in place. That's exactly
Different
what you're
time, man.
talking about.
I didn't know your shoulder came out, man. I would have helped you because I was good at it.
Hey, it was already
You could have
damaged.
popped it
I've been in
back
the
in.
league 11 years. Been in the league 11 years. I was the leading tackler in KU history when I got out of college. Them shoulders had a tear on them, man.
Well, you're all right now. I'll buy you tequila later on.
There you go. Make it all better.
Trisha, do you feel like since you were so much bigger than everyone else, especially at your position, you think guys try to maybe not take cheap shots on you when you're running, but they were going to come at you harder than anyone else they would come at?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, I can remember some plays where people tried to hurt me. You know, I remember one time in Pittsburgh. Because sometimes when I run, it takes a gang of guys to take me down. So I was pulling about three or four guys with me, and I saw this guy coming from the right side I just saw him coming, and he speared towards my right knee. And when I saw him coming like that, I had to lift my leg up, you know, so that it doesn't break my knee.
Hmm.
You know, so those kind of things happened way back then. I don't know if they still do it today, but I still remember that particular play. When if I didn't lift my leg up, I would have my knee would have been gone. You know, my career will have been shortened. And but those kind of things, you know, and nobody taught me how to do that. I just knew that if my leg was stuck on the turf, I would have had a broke leg.
Hmm.
Dang.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dangerous game, man. Hey, what do you think about all the rule changes now? I mean, you know, all the rule changes now. What do you think about the game towards the practices? You know, I mean, we had 2-a-days. I mean, these guys don't have 2-a-days. They don't hit. I mean, what do you think about the rule changes and the way they play the game now?
I wish they had it back then when I played. Are you kidding me? Jeez, guys, now they don't practice. You know, they wear pads, they wear shoulder pads 20 practices the whole year. 20. And we take care of that during training camp when I was playing.
Yeah.
In training camp, we wore pads 2 a day. You know, you can't even have 2 a days today. You see, I mean, the rules changes. It's awesome, good for the guys. You know, but I just wish it was during our time. You know, all these injuries that we are suffering today, we wouldn't have them back then, because most of the injuries we sustain them in practice. You know, if you remember 9-on-7, you guys did 9-on-7, right,
Yeah.
LeRoy?
9-on-7. We hit every day, man. We hit every day.
Yeah, 7. I tell you, it's live. You know, so you sustain more practices, bumps and bruises in practice more than games. Games were easy for me.
Yeah.
You know, Marty Schottenheimer was one of those hard-headed coaches that you know, if you drew out 15 plays to practice in 9-on-7, we'll do that 15 plays 3 times each. That's 45 plays right there. You know, um, so but today I think they have time limit in practice, and you don't have to wear pads all the time, and then of course during the games, you can tackle some guys a different way. Defensive players get whistled all the time, penalized. It's so different, but it's good for them. Good for them.
Yeah.
You know, we
Christian,
sued
I
the
want to
owners
ask you
and we
about
won.
your.
And we sued the owners and we won, right? So they changed the way practices are going to be practiced. But the players that benefited from it didn't give us any more money in our retirement. I mean, they just kind of like forgot about the fact that we changed the game for them. I went to a Cowboy Ram scrimmage and there was no tackling in the scrimmage. I've never heard of in our era. A scrimmage, Christian, no tackling.
Yeah, that's incredible. You know, that's incredible. I don't
Yeah.
believe it. You know, again, good for the players that are playing today. You know, they are the beneficiaries of what we did. You see, I just kind of wish that they will remember us and give us a little bit.
Yeah, Christian, I want to ask you about your nickname, your moniker, if you will, the Nigerian Nightmare.
Backbeater, which one?
Is that something that you even liked? Like, is that something that you liked, having that
It's
name?
a guy that went to UCLA, Irv Itman. Irv Itman is the one that called me the Nigerian Nightmare in practice. We were watching films and I was running through guys in practice. So he decided to call me. He says, watch out for the nightmare. And then, a quarterback, Bill Kinney, says, watch out for the nightmare. And Irv Itman says, Nigerian Nightmare. And they kind of stuck. So that's where it started. And then, of course, the ESPN came to Kansas City to do a story on me. They were talking to my teammates and asking them questions, and they're all calling me Nigerian Nightmare. So um, it stuck like that.
Yeah. Did you care for the name, or you just like, it's roll, everyone's doing it now, it's kind of stuck?
Well, it's kind of a cool name. I didn't care about it much back then, but now, I mean, it's cool because back then I didn't really care about any stuff that came outside of my playing nickname or whatever. But now that I'm outside the game, I can look back and appreciate it. And then of course, many Nigerians that come up, people are calling them Nigerian Nightmare. Boxer came out and they call him Nigerian Nightmare, and then the UFC guy, Usman, they call him Nigerian Nightmare. But I keep telling them I'm the original.
OG right there.
Hey, Christian, let me ask you something. I mean, I know you do the California Sports Hall of Fame. What prompted you to start
Yeah.
the California Sports Hall of Fame? And can you tell our viewers some of the members of the California Sports Hall of Fame? What prompted you to start that?
Well, I was inducted into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame, and I started wondering if California had one. You see? So, and then the more I researched, the more I became interested in starting it. And the first person I called was a Bill Walsh. And I asked him, I said, Coach, have you ever heard of the California Sports Hall of Fame? He said, no. I said, well, I've been looking into it and I don't see any California Sports Hall of Fame. I noticed they have regional Sports Hall of Fame everywhere. He says, yeah. I said, if I start one, would you support? He said, sure. So I got with my attorney and we put it together. And I started calling guys, of course, Marcus Allen, Eric, Reggie Jackson, Magic Johnson, um, John Wooden. I started calling all the big names in sports in California, and they all threw in their support. And that's how I started it.
Sweet.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you about that too. But like, how do you and whoever else is on like a committee? How do you choose the people or even organizations? I saw like De La Salle Football was on there as well.
Well, the first induction, I did the selection because, of course, I'm the founder. The very first one in 2007, we inducted 19 individuals. I think LeRoy, you were there in 2007. Um, so after that, I kind of left it up to all the guys that are in it. People that are already in it to do the selection. So that's what we do. Members do select people who are coming in.
Sweet.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah.
They nominate and they select.
De La Salle football's in there? I didn't know that. They had a pretty damn good run there for 25 years.
What's that?
De La Salle football being in there, they had a really good run for like 25
Oh,
years.
yes,
So,
yes. De La Salle, I think they went to they won all their games for 12 or 14 years straight without a loss, right?
mhm.
Yeah, there's the
Something like that.
mhm, something
And they
wild.
also haven't lost a league game since like
Yeah,
91. They still haven't lost a league game.
yeah,
And
Wild.
absolutely insane. Christian, you
yeah.
touched on it earlier, but you said that you had 4 touchdowns in the Senior Bowl game, but you didn't win MVP. Do you know
Well,
why?
I won the. I think they gave offensive player, from each team. So
Mhm.
I was the offensive player of the game on the South team. Yeah.
Okay, because I was looking at it. It said it was a quarterback that won the actual MVP of the game, and I was confused. I was like,
Well,
"You had
yeah,
4 touchdowns."
maybe a quarterback did, but I know they gave me a little plates, trophy for offensive player. I wasn't the MVP, no.
Do you think that helped your draft stock after that?
Oh, definitely. Because I went to Azusa Pacific where I didn't play on TV, so they didn't see me. And playing the Senior Bowl is where they kind of saw if I was able to play in the NFL.
All the pro scouts are down there,
So
the
it did help a lot.
GMs, the pro scouts, the coaches, everybody down in the Senior Bowl. It's like a reunion or a conference. So that's I play the Senior Bowl as well. And, you get if you get to the Senior Bowl, everybody's gonna see you and watch you. So it's a great opportunity to get down there. That's probably put you on the map for sure.
Yeah, most of the guys that I played against in the NFL, the guys that came out the same year, they all played in the Senior Bowl. And I think it was Paul Palmer. You guys remember that? Remember that name? Paul Palmer, Temple University. Um, I think he pulled out of Senior Bowl. That's why they called me to play there. So things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I got to the Senior Bowl because a guy from Oregon pulled out of the Senior Bowl at the last minute, and they needed a replacement. So I got a shot to go down to the Senior Bowl. So sometimes things happen for a reason.
Yeah, that's what happened to me.
Man. It sounds like there was a lot of little opportunities that came your way that kind of changed your life projection to a degree. It's like, if thinking back, like if you never went to Azusa Pacific, where do you think what was your plan originally? Like, and it was track and field?
My my plan was to be a teacher in high school, to be a PE teacher, you see. So if I didn't play football, that's what I would have done. And lucky enough, I got thrown into football, and everything worked out.
Yeah, I saw, and I guess that kind of rolls into, I saw that you were coaching as well in high school. Is that like kind of just that natural progression, kind of getting back to teaching?
Yeah, I coached 1 year
Mhm.
in high school. I coached at Montclair High School, and I had a great time coaching, but I didn't want to continue coaching. I had my own foundation for
Mhm.
kids, and I was working with kids, so I wanted to do that um, instead of working in the high school.
Got
So
you.
yeah.
So, Christian, tell us about your foundation. Well, what's your foundation about? I know you at-risk kids. What are some of the things you do for your foundation?
Well, I started out doing a free football and soccer clinics, and but today, because I'm older, I don't do clinics anymore. But in Kansas City, I take a bunch of kids Christmas shopping. We raise money there in Kansas City. We take a bunch of kids. Last year, we took 228 kids. We give them each $200 to go in and buy whatever. And these kids are the type of kids that don't get to have Christmas. Another thing that I do is I have a program in Nigeria working with kids year round. I have individuals that work with kids, so staff of about 3 people. Every Saturday, kids come to the Catholic field over there, and they work with kids. The same thing, kind of pulling them out. And people may ask, why do you do that for the kids? I say I do it because, when I was growing up, I didn't have any future. I didn't see anything. It was a coach I came to my dad and told my dad, said, I'll take care of his son, because my dad didn't want me playing soccer. He didn't want me playing sports at all. And this coach came to my dad and said, I'll take care of your son. I'll make sure I pick him up and I'll bring him back home. And that coach, Patrick Anoka, is now in California. Um, but if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have played sports. So I want to give other kids the same opportunities that I was given by Patrick Anoka, because when you receive your blessings, man, it comes through. It comes through from other people. God blesses us through others, and that's what I want to do with these kids. Kind of show them a way how they can dream. You know, because if they get stuck in their environment, they will never get out of it. But if you show them the things that are out there, then they can dream bigger. You see? So that's how I see it.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing down here in Mexico. I got a foundation called, you know, uh, Man in the Mirror, and these kids down here, they don't get to see anything. All they see is their parents working the menial jobs that they have. All they know is their communities. They don't even
Yeah,
see the outside world and what's out there for them, education wise, career wise, dreaming wise, goal wise. And that's what I'm doing down here in Mexico.
good, good. That's Mexico is just like Nigeria, third world countries, very, very poor. And when you go to those areas where you have very poor, extremely poor kids, those kids don't have a way out. It's usually people that have been outside that will come inside and see these kids and say, hey, I can help you. You see, and they kind of show them the ways, and then they will start dreaming, even bigger. Um, if they don't see a way to dream bigger, then they will never dream bigger. You see, so
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's
yeah,
kind of sad, though, because we in the United States, the kids in the United States have so many opportunities, and they don't take advantage of them. And you see these kids down here with zero opportunities. I mean, zero role models. I mean, your mom works in a restaurant or a cleaning lady, dad does construction or manual labor. or something like that. The pay is terrible, the housing is terrible, and without people around you like your buddy that came to you from Nigeria showing you the way, if no one spends time to show these kids the way, they won't find a way.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I mean, that's how it works. It's just too bad.
Christian, you said you loved playing soccer as a kid. That was like your first true love sport. Why did you stop playing
Yeah,
it?
I was too big. I was weighing 260 pounds. I can't run around with guys that are weighing 120. I
Mhm.
mean, I'll hurt myself or I'll hurt them. So I never seen a soccer player as big as 260. It's not easy to run around all day with the little guy.
You outgrew it essentially.
Yes, I did. I grew it.
Do you think that scoring a goal in soccer is somewhat equivalent to scoring a touchdown in football? Like,
Of course,
okay.
of course. To me, it's bigger than scoring a touchdown because I've always said that. I don't know if you guys remember the World Cup that came to Rose Bowl years ago. That was before I started playing football. I think still today, I think that match is the biggest sporting event that I've ever been to. I've been to many Super Bowls and watched Super Bowls, but that one right there, World Cup Finals, was the biggest sporting event I've ever been to. Most exciting. It was Brazil and Italy, and
Yeah,
they
Brazil
played
and
in the
Italy.
finals,
Yep.
and they went, yeah, to double overtime, and it ended up in PKs, and Brazil won.
Yep.
Wow.
Jeez.
I was
It
watching that
was it
game.
was crazy. I must have been 120 degrees out there. It was so hot, but I didn't care, because I'd never get this chance again, and
Mhm.
I never had the chance to go to another World Cup finals again.
Yeah.
Yeah, soccer is a different level.
And Pele scored 1,000 goals. I mean, you think about that. 1,000 goals. Soccer games are 1-0, 2-0, and Pele scored 1,000. He got 1,000 goals, right?
Well, the thing is that you're talking about Pele, right?
Yeah,
Pele, yeah. Pele played, all his life. He played throughout his life. Remember, he retired and they
yeah,
brought him back to play for Cosmos in New York. Remember that?
right. Yeah,
Just like Messi's doing now. So he played a
right.
long time. Must have played for like 50 years, you see. And I mean, Pele is one of those guys that, oh my goodness, he just had all kinds of skills, and he played for a long time. Just like Messi. Messi's a little guy, he can play forever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You never see Messi run full speed because he's so calculated, you see. And yeah,
1,000 goals, though. You talking about rushing touchdowns. 1,000 goals, man.
it's
Come
a
on
lot.
now.
It's a lot. I mean, when he played as a junior and then he played for his, Pele never played for any club outside of Brazil, except for when he came to the United States. You know that? He
Yeah,
never played for any other club. Brazil is like you are the Brazilian property, and they paid him to only play for Brazilian team and national team.
yeah.
So when he retired, they lured him to New York to play for the Cosmos. You know, yeah,
He's the best ever.
he's the best. But Messi is challenging him as the best now because that guy has magical legs.
Definitely the longevity for sure.
Yeah,
The difference between Messi and Pele is now Messi is always on TV. You can watch a Messi game anytime you want to watch it. You couldn't watch a Pele game. It was like you had to be in the right spot at the right time to watch a Pele game, but you can watch Messi and Ronaldo and all those guys anytime you want.
that is true. That is true. Pele, when he played, I think he was known all over the world because all the things that he did in World Cups. Of course, when he played in World Cup, they showed all over the world. Not like Messi, but at least that's when they saw Pele play. It was when he played in the World Cups.
Mm,
Yeah.
greatest exposure.
Yeah.
Christian, I want to talk about when you were with the Chiefs. It seems like you and Coach Marty Schottenheimer had a pretty good relationship from what I could see on the outside. How do you think that he was able to take a 4-11 squad and turn you guys into a playoff team just a couple years in?
Well, Marty's a good coach. He was a good coach. He's won everywhere he went to. He won in Cleveland, he won in Kansas City, he won in Washington, and then he won in San Diego. Those four teams that he coached, he won. He took each and every one of them to the playoffs. And I just didn't understand when he was with San Diego, he was 14-2, and he got fired. He got fired because he didn't get along with the GM. You see, I mean, I just still don't understand that. A coach that is doing real
Mhm,
well, going to playoffs, and you're going to fire him because the GM, you know, had a pause struggle with him or something. Are you kidding me? If I was the owner, I'll fire that GM first before I fire the coach. And of course, when he was gone, San Diego went down.
mhm.
You see, so I don't know if winning was important to San Diego or not, but you know, I don't know.
Goes against everything you think you're supposed to be doing, right?
Exactly, head coach is more important, especially
Mhm.
when he's winning. I get rid of the GM. Get out of here.
Definitely.
Yeah, but the
So,
Spanish says the GM was their boy, and they're on the same team. The GM and the owners, they're on the same team, and and usually it's about control. When it comes down to it, it's about control. Who's going to control the show? Who's going to be the guy making the draft picks? Who's going to be the guys making all the personnel decisions? And Schottenheimer's got a strong personality. Marty, he got a strong personality. He ain't taking crap from nobody. So, who knows what happened behind closed
yeah.
doors. But it was really a dumb move by San Diego. I don't think they really recovered from it.
Well, that's a difference between good teams and bad teams. That's an example of bad team right there.
Yeah.
When you are, past struggling head coach, then nah, it doesn't work, and it didn't work.
It's all about who's
Yeah,
got the ear of the owner, is what it feels like.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So, but now I think they have a good coach in Jim Harbaugh. I like Jim Harbaugh; he's a good friend. So they're gonna do okay.
Yeah.
But then they won't beat the Chiefs though.
hopefully don't beat the Raiders either. Oh, good, but not too good, hopefully.
Yeah, they might beat the Raiders, but not the Chiefs.
Maybe.
Pat's too good, man.
Oh, man.
Uh,
Jeez.
So, you remember
so
Barry Ward?
anyway,
You remember Barry Ward, Christian?
yeah, my teammate. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
How's he doing now? You ever listen to him at all or talk to him?
yeah. I talk to Barry all the time. I have an event in Kansas City, fundraising for my foundation, and he's gonna be there next week. He's coming there,
Oh, good.
so all my teammates that don't live in town act for it. Yeah, Barry is a good friend of mine.
Yeah, good guy. What a good running back,
Yeah,
too. He like you guys are awesome, man. Shit. I mean,
For
yeah.
sure.
He was
you guys had
he
a
was
great team
good.
there
He
with
was a
Albert
big guy
Lewis.
too.
I mean, Kevin
Kevin
Ross,
Ross,
Albert
yeah,
Lewis. You guys had
Yeah.
two great corners. Ron Cherry.
yeah, yeah. That that was one year. Four of them went to the Pro Bowl.
Jeez, that's a
Four of
lot.
them.
That's pretty
You
good.
know,
Yeah, all of them went to the
Albert
Pro Bowl.
Lewis, Kevin Ross, and Duran Cherry.
Yeah.
One year they
Ron
all went
Cherry,
to
yeah.
the Pro Bowl.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Christian, I want to ask you because I know you were featured in an episode of A Football Life by NFL Films.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's just a really cool honor and experience. So we're interested in hearing and what you remember about that. What does that mean to you? Um,
It means a lot. It
mhm,
means a lot to be featured like that.
yeah.
It just shows that people recognize my work. You know,
Oh yeah.
um, thank God every time people recognize your work, and that means you're doing something good. You're doing your work, and you're doing it very well. So thank God for that.
Awesome.
So
Christian, man. You're a stand-up guy, always have been, man. I really appreciate your friendship with me and for agreeing to come on the show with me, man. It means a lot, man, because I know you're busy, you got a lot of things going on, and to come here and share your experiences with us and all of our viewers, that means a lot to me, man. That you take the time to do it for me, man. And if I can ever be of service to you, man, you just let me know.
well,
I'll always be there.
I appreciate it. And
Absolutely.
if you guys don't know, I just came out with a book.
Yes. Nigeria.
My book came
Yeah.
out November 7th. It's called The Nigerian Nightmare. So anybody who's interested in it, they can go on my website, christianokoye.com, that you can buy a copy.
We'll
Yeah,
put the link
So,
in the description for your website.
for sure.
okay, perfect.
We'll put
Awesome.
the link in. I'll
All
make
right.
sure I buy one. I saw it today online. I'm Amazon. I can get on Amazon. How about the T-shirts? But you have some T-shirts coming out too?
Yeah, the Tecmo Bowl. If you guys remember Tecmo Bowl way back then,
Mhm.
yeah, Tecmo Bowl used to be the Madden of the day. And so a company called Homage, they contacted me and wanted to do a T-shirt, so they made some T-shirts with the Christian Okoye on it. And I guess back in the day, they said that Christian Okoye, Bo Jackson, we were
Unstoppable.
tough to stop. So
Mhm.
um, so they made a T-shirt out of that, and it's selling very well. So people should go to homage.com. Homage.com//take mobile.